Want more details? Click on the Show More button below for links to the research and articles. The Earth's oceans. We cannot live without them. Oceans cover 71% of the Earth's surface. They play a crucial role in regulating the weather. They also feed us. We harvest over 90 million tons of seafood from the oceans each year. Seafood provides more than 2.9 billion people with at least 20% of their animal protein. But what is not widely reported in the mainstream media is that the oceans are in serious trouble. The oceans are being polluted by our garbage. Every year, 8 million tons of garbage, mostly plastic, ends up in the sea. Naturally, millions of tons of plastic in the ocean is not good for the sea life. Plastics do not biodegrade, but they break up into smaller pieces over time. So a lot of the plastic pollution ends up in the form of little bits of microplastic, which get eaten by fish and seabirds. One study estimated that 90% of marine birds have eaten plastic. Not only does all of this plastic hurt ocean life, but it works its way up in the food chain to humans too. Studies have found plastic ending up in seafood and even in our table salt. Links to articles are in the summary below. So if you enjoy eating seafood, you may also be eating plastic. The amount of plastic the world is producing is enormous and is going up every year. So this problem is only getting worse over time. In fact, at the current rate, a report by the World Economic Forum estimated that the sheer mass of plastic in the ocean could exceed the mass of fish by 2050. Even as we are poisoning the sea life, we are overfishing it too. Although there have been attempts to manage fisheries to avoid fishery collapse, with a few successes, this does not keep people from cheating and overfishing. The number I mentioned earlier, 90 million tons of fish caught each year. This comes from officially reported numbers. An additional 40 million tons is estimated to be harvested each year, which is unreported or illegally caught. Of the world's fisheries, only 15% are considered to be healthy, according to a report by the United Nations. See link below. One of the most destructive forms of fishing is bottom trawling. This is where large weighted nets are dragged across the ocean floor, clear-cutting a swath of habitat in their wake. Some of this damage takes centuries to heal, if ever. To feed our growing appetite for seafood in the face of fishery depletion, people are turning to aquaculture. Although this may be effective in putting fish on our plates for now, allowing the world's sea life to be poisoned and fished to extinction will not be good in the long run. As if pollution and overfishing weren't enough, vast stretches of coral reefs are now dying. Coral reefs are homes to thousands of species of fish, as well as turtles, whales, and other sea life. They are ancient. Coral reefs have been around for millions of years, and the ones which exist today, such as the Great Barrier Reef, are many thousands of years old. Unfortunately, they are now dying due to the warming seas. When the temperatures get too high, coral reefs experience deadly bleaching events, where the reefs lose their algae and turn white. Although recovery over time is possible, there have been too many unprecedented bleaching events in recent years. A recent paper in the journal Science, see link below, reports that bleaching events are occurring over twice as frequently as in 1980, and the time between events is too short for a full recovery. This does not bode well for the reefs. It has been found that Australia's Great Barrier Reef has lost over 50% of its coral cover since 1985. Recent severe bleaching events in 2015 and 2016 have killed off large swaths of the Great Barrier Reef. The oceans have been turning more acidic. Increased levels of CO2 in the atmosphere are affecting the pH of the seas. The upper layer of the ocean absorbs CO2, forming carbonic acid. Higher acidity causes shellfish, such as clams and oysters, to have trouble forming their shells. This is having real economic impacts. Numerous commercial shellfish hatcheries have experienced problems in recent years, as reported in various media outlets such as slate.com. See link below. Some hatcheries have even started to buffer their water, which means adding antacid to the incoming water in order to preserve the larvae. But even if people are able to save some commercial shellfish hatcheries, what about the rest of the ocean? So, take a deep breath. Oceans are slowly losing oxygen, and are projected to lose up to 7% of their oxygen in the next century. Warmer ocean temperatures cause water to hold less oxygen. In addition to warming seas, runoff of agricultural and industrial pollution are contributing to coastal hypoxic dead zones. Large parts of the ocean are becoming uninhabitable for sea life. An absolutely worst-case scenario, which could be in store for us, is something called a Canfield Ocean, as described by Peter Ward's book, Under a Green Sky. The frightening prospect of purple-colored anoxic oceans is left for another video to describe. Another ocean-related topic for a future video is the steady decline of Arctic sea ice in recent decades, which could have catastrophic implications for ocean circulation, as well as causing atmospheric methane to shoot up and compound our predicament. So there it is. Ancient coral reefs are now dying. Fish and other sea life we consume are increasingly contaminated by pollution and plastics. Shellfish are being devastated by acidic conditions, and fisheries are depleting and collapsing as we struggle to feed ourselves from their decreasing numbers. Meanwhile, vast areas of the ocean are becoming dead zones. How long can this go on? And how do you think this will end? Well, what do you think? Are the oceans doomed? Is there anything we can do to save them? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And in the meantime, have a safe day.